Hello everyone. Today, I'm going to be reading an SCP about paper. Yep, this is my life now. Well, it's paper from Wondertainment, so I'm sure people, things, entities, space wizards down at Wondertainment, wherever they may be, will spice up this bland item. Somehow. Anyways, today I'll be reading SCP-445. Item number: SCP-445. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Access to and testing of SCP-445 must be approved by staff with Level 2 security clearance or higher. Each request must include a list of tests to be carried out. Any testing must be done with the accompaniment of no less than 2 guards for the entirety of testing. Not really. How do you even say accompaniment? Accompaniment? Damn it! I spent years in the library reading, so that's the only thing to do, and I'm still not good at reading. Well, good thing I read for a living now, or I guess partially. This is more of a side gig. Anyways, of no less than 2 guards for the entirety of testing. Any deviation from this pre-approved list of tests will result in immediate termination of testing and severe reprimand. Addendum. As of 06/20, SCP-445 is to be kept permanently separated from samples of SCP-445-A, as described in Isolation Protocol IP-445-01. The access and testing regulations given above for SCP-445 apply equally to SCP-445-A. For more details, see Document 445-01. Description: SCP-445 consists of 3 stacks of white 11 by 17 inch paper. Each individual leaf has the text Dr. Wondertainment's Superpaper stamped on the left bottom corner. While in its natural state, SCP-445 cannot be torn or burned. Water has no adverse effect on it, and glue or tape will not stick to SCP-445. Observation of SCP-445 has found that its fibers are much more denser than normal paper fibers, at 3,000 kilograms per meters cubed, and a microlayer of unidentifiable substance is coated on each individual fiber. When SCP-445 is folded into a representation of an object, SCP-445 takes on the qualities of the object in question. While in its folded state, SCP-445 can only be unfolded into its original state by the person who originally folded it. SCP-445 can also be rolled and will stick to itself if slight pressure is applied. Drawing on SCP-445 does not produce any unusual effect, with the expectation of any details illustrated for the folded or rolled objects. A variant of SCP-445, designated SCP-445-A, was created on 06/20 via exposure of SCP-445 to samples of SCP-073. Physically, SCP-440-A is almost identical to SCP-445, the only difference being a slight reddish tint to SCP-445-A. However, SCP-445-A behaves differently to SCP-445 when folded. See Document 445-01 for details. Addendum 1015 Dr. Testing Log. Folded into a paper tube. When observed through one of its open ends, SCP-445 acted as a handheld telescope, enhancing the view of objects within a 25-foot distance. A Christmas tree. Remained stable when stood upright. When green and red lights were drawn onto the tree, they lit up despite the lack of any physical light source. Folded into a small knife. became very sturdy and sharp, giving several researchers paper cuts whilst attempting to fold it, able to hold its own against actual metal weaponry. If I didn't have my special knife of my own, I'd definitely want to keep some of this paper around. I guess it would be pretty hilarious doing my job with a paper knife on hand. It's a shame. Folded into a conical paper tube, acted as a megaphone, amplified only through the folder's voice. When a volume control was drawn onto the side, the folder was able to change the volume of the megaphone. Folded into a paper cup, became very rigid, was able to hold extremely hot or volatile liquids without any sign of tearing or melting. Folded into a paper crane, became animate, much like SCP-368, though much slower and easily catchable. Recommended research into possible connection between the two. Folded into a paper boat/hat. When placed in water, became self-propelling at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour. When inverted and placed on head, subject's physical attractiveness was greatly increased in the eyes of viewers. When both were performed simultaneously, both effects were achieved, with subject reported as looking dead while scooting around the water upside down. Folded into a crumpled wad of paper, leaving 3 D-Class personnel dead. Testing session ended. Now that could definitely make my job a heck of a lot easier, let me tell you. I might have to acquire some if I happen to come across it. Who knows where my next assignment's gonna be anyways. Folded into an origami copy of SCP-682, animated halfway through folding process, causing Dr. G considerable injury. Testing session ended. Notes. Let's not try that again. Dr. G. Addendum. 06 20 Dr. has requested permission to test samples of SCP-445 in conjunction with SCP-085. He has also requested permission to expose samples of SCP-445 to SCP-073 to determine whether SCP-073's ability to destroy ordinary paper by touch extends to SCP-445. Document 445-01 06 20 Approval for testing SCP-445 in conjunction with 073 granted. SCP-073 is placed in a room with 1 sheet of SCP-445 and instructed to touch the paper. SCP-445 sample exhibits no loss of structural integrity upon contact with SCP-073. However, the sample does change color, exhibiting a slightly reddish tinge within a proximity of 30 seconds of initial contact with SCP-073. Modified SCP-445 sample designated SCP-445-A. Dr. recommends further investigation into physical and chemical composition of SCP-445. SCP-445-A stored in separate isolation chamber to prevent potential cross-contamination. 06 20 1 sheet of SCP-445 introduced to SCP-445-A. SCP-445 sample begins exhibiting visible coloration consistent with SCP-445-A within 90 seconds of initial contact. After approximately 600 seconds of contact, introduced sample of SCP-445 is physically indistinguishable from SCP-445-A. Formal isolation protocol IP-445-01 established to prevent cross-contamination between SCP-445 and SCP-445-A. 07 20. 8 sheets of SCP-445-A introduced to SCP-445-A. Conversion occurs as before, bringing the total number of SCP-445-A sheets to 10. Dr. begins testing on SCP-445-A, following the experiment protocol utilized on 10-15 by Drs. and G. Folded into a paper tube. When observed through one of its open ends, SCP-445-A acted as a handheld telescope, enhancing the view of objects within a 25-foot distance. However, subject using the telescope reported the objects viewed through it seemed somehow off. When asked to elaborate, the subject was unable to specify any specific visual issue, noting only that objects viewed through the telescope appeared sinister. Folded into a Christmas tree. Remained stable when stood upright. When green and red lights were drawn onto the tree, they lit up despite the lack of any physical light source. Test results identical to those of SCP-445. Well, at least the Christmas tree was left unaffected, so that's good. Folded into a small knife. Became very sturdy and sharp, causing injuries to all subjects who attempted to pick it up, ultimately severing subject D right index finger at the proximal interphalangeal joint. I think I actually got that one. Huh. Eventually, subject using reinforced gloves was able to unfold SCP-445-A sample into its original neutral shape. Folded into a conical paper tube. Acted as a megaphone, though amplified only the folder's voice. The amplified voice was subject to significant distortion, exhibiting what was described as a demonic growl by observers, though in all cases the speaker's voice was still identifiable. When a volume control was drawn onto the side, the folder was able to change the volume of the megaphone. They also probably should have put a demonic and not demonic option on the side of it as well. I'm, just throwing out some ideas, but I don't know. Maybe some people just like the demonic voice. I don't know. Folded into a paper cup. Became very rigid, able to hold extremely hot or volatile liquids without any sign of tearing or melting. However, samples of water added to the cup became opaque and dark red in color within 15 seconds of contact. Chemical analysis of the resulting fluid revealed it to contain large quantities of human hemoglobin and other blood proteins. No other liquid added to the cup exhibited this change, including water-based solutions and concentrations of higher than 50 mm. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be meters, because I don't know. I don't remember much from what I was taught about like measuring fluids, but I'm pretty sure it has its own set of calculations. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good at chemistry or like calculating this sort of stuff. It's not really my job. Oh well, you guys are just gonna have to tell me in the comments. Folded into a paper crane. Became animate, much like SCP-368. Sample displayed aggressive and territorial behavior, repeatedly dive-bombing researchers and attacking them with its beak and wings, causing minor injuries. After being caught and killed by crushing the paper crane, Sample was able to be unfolded into its original neutral shape. Folded into a paper boat / hat. When placed in water, became self-propelling at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour. Again, Sample displayed aggressive behavior, repeatedly attempting to ram nearby subjects, and even propelling itself out of the water to do so. When inverted and placed on head, subject began to act erratically, threatening researchers and security personnel with violence. Subject terminated. In light of these results, Dr. elects to suspend further testing on SCP-445-A. SCP-073 declines to comment when questioned on these findings. Note: in light of these findings, I would like to formally request that SCP-445 be reclassified as a Euclid class object. Doctor. Now, I bet you're wondering who SCP-073 is, and want an explanation. Well, my friend, you're just gonna have to wait because that's gonna be my next reading. Lucky for you. Okay, everyone, I hope you all have a good day, night, or whatever equivalent you have, and goodbye.